Okay, you guys are live.
All right, it says start webinar. Do I start that, Ashley?
It says start the webinar.
The top of my screen. It says I'm in practice session. Attendees can't join until you start the webinar.
Will you go ahead and start it, Dan? You can start. It says, because my view says the webinar has started.
Okay, now it says the webinar is now live.
Okay, you're good to go, and you're live on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're live, so whenever you're ready.
Call to meeting to order. Parks and Rec, August 16th. We'll do a roll call. Commissioner Daniels.
Here.
Commissioner Moulton.
Here.
Commissioner Nielsen.
Here.
Commissioner Gaines Lynch. Commissioner White. Here. Commissioner Cadigan. Here. Vice Chair Maxwell.
Present.
And then I'm present.
For the record, we have a quorum.
We have four. Perfect. I guess we'll move right along to public comment. You receive any emails, Mr.?
I have not received any emails. Those members of the public that would like to speak during public comment, please use the raise your hand feature. Public comment is still open. Anyone attending the meeting via Zoom, if you would like to speak during public comment, please use the raise your hand feature and provide your comment.
All right. Well, thank you, public, for being present. We'll move on to item number 3, approval of the minutes. We have two sets. We have May 17th and June 28th.
I'd like to make the motion that we accept the minutes as written.
Second. All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Daniels?
Yes.
Commissioner Moulton?
Yes.
Commissioner Nielsen?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Cadigan?
Yeah.
Vice Chair Maxwell?
Aye.
And Chair Pacheco?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, moving on to item number 4, review agenda. Is there any items that have arisen in the last 72 hours that you guys would like to add and then vote on?
I do have an item. It's actually in regards to item E.
Okay.
Item E was a public works item, and I was told that they are not ready to present this item. So they will not be here tonight to do so. However, they would like to request a special meeting on September 20th to discuss this item in full and have a consultant come out and do with that. So when this item comes up on the agenda, I am recommending that the commission votes on whether or not September 20th date would work for a special meeting for this.
Are you talking about the bike path sign? E?
Wait, it must have been, wait, hold on, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. It's actually A.
Hey,
A.
gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah, it was on, it was on.
I was looking at that. Wow, this is cool.
And I would like to,
Order of the court.
I would like to recommend too, potentially going back to public comment, as I see that there are more people on Zoom. They may have had a little bit more challenging getting on. So
Okay.
I think if we open up public comment again, that would be beneficial to the public.
Excellent. At this time, we will move back to public comment. Mr. Muse, if you don't mind.
All right, for those members on Zoom, public comment is now open. Please use the raise your hand feature, and you will have 3 minutes to speak. All right, Laura Murphy, you may unmute yourself, and you have 3 minutes to make your public comment.
Hi, everybody. Laura Murphy from the Environmental Commission, City of Seaside. Glad to see everyone together. And thank you so much for having the remote public comment option available. Just wanted to let you all know that Sustainable Seaside, together with FOSPA, are planning a park tour on October 2nd. And I'm sure that Commissioner Nielsen will speak about this later on, but wanted to put it on everyone's radar that we are in the planning phases for putting activities together and getting things prepared for that park tour, October 2nd from 1 to 4 p.m. And I'm certain that Sustainable Seaside will probably be presenting when they are ready for advertising and outreach. And we'll ask the commission to support that outreach effort. We will be highlighting and emphasizing the pollinator plantings that have been ongoing in a selection of seaside parks, as you've all heard about. And I had the opportunity to meet with the subcommittee on trees. And I know that you'll be having a presentation about that later in the agenda, but I'm very happy to have participation from the Parks and Recreation Commission through that subcommittee also for the upcoming park tour. That's all I wanted to mention for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy, for your comments. Public comment remains open. If you would like to speak in public comment, please raise your hand feature. Dr. Choi, you now have the floor. You may unmute yourself and speak for up to 3 minutes.
Okay, fantastic. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, I'm calling to express my extreme opposition, my vehement opposition to this ridiculous, ongoing so-called pickleball pilot program. It's been a disgrace and a disaster from day one. No one in our community was notified about this so-called pilot program. And when we expressed our extreme opposition, it was completely ignored. You guys voted to extend this program indefinitely. That is absolutely ridiculous. I've heard a ton of excuses about why this program should continue. Dan Mewis had this excuse. You're the only one who's complaining. Well, guess what? The city of Monterey just received a petition with over 100 signatures opposing pickleball. Yeah, I'm the only one. Well, if I'm the only one, why are there 100 signatures in the city of Monterey opposing this program? Another problem. Why are you groveling for these pickleball players? Why are you begging these people to buy a sandwich or a beer or I don't know what else you want these people to buy? They're not spending a cent in the city of Seaside. The reality is they're destroying the streets, they're destroying the sidewalks, they're destroying the peace and quiet and the livability of this city. They're spending 8 hours a day sometimes at this park. This is ridiculous. They're littering in the park. They're littering on private property. They're engaging in indecent exposure. They've turned the park into their public bathroom. Okay, and the reason more people aren't speaking up is because Dan Mewis once again lied to us. He said that the city council is responsive. That is a complete and utter joke. They're not responsive to the people of Seaside. Absolutely wrong. Another lie from Dan Mewis. He claimed that he had a site set up where Parks and Recreation would relocate these pickleball players. I called him back a few days later. He said that there were absolutely no plans whatsoever. This was just a thought in his mind. Look, what is the city council doing in response to these problems? Okay, they don't answer the phone. They don't reply to emails. They don't do anything whatsoever. Okay, they're completely ignoring our interests. They're completely ignoring our concerns. They're not doing anything. And you know damn well they don't live here. You know these pickleball players don't live here. They all live in affluent neighborhoods, okay? And they're exploiting this city because they know we can be exploited. We're a laughing stock throughout Monterey County. We're a doormat. We allow anything to happen here.
Thank you for your comments, Dr. Choi.
Go ahead, is my time up?
Yes, your time is up. Thank you for your
Okay, thank you.
comment.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Public comment remains open. Sir, I don't see any more public comment.
Thank you. Are we allowed to address any of that or?
You can, is there any questions you can?
Sure,
You
I
can address.
have this question.
Okay.
In regards to our most recent calling, has there been any police reports regarding nuisance exposure or destruction of property that we know of?
I have not heard of any police reports. Just,
I would hope then that you keep us informed, Dan, if there is any police reports to come through, so we can act accordingly. And I encourage that person to file police reports when things happen. Otherwise, we can't really act on it. And also, we love you, Dan. You're doing a great job. Please keep doing it. All right, moving on. Business items. Item number A. Dan, kind of already talked about this, but
Yeah.
we can't really, don't have a presentation. Does anybody have a motion for, or agree with the motion to push to special meeting? September 20th.
the date would be September 20th. That was a date that was proposed by the Public Works Department as the consultant is available that day. If that day, really, they just need at least a quorum to be able to participate. But I think given with the hybrid meeting and stuff, we should be able to get that pretty easily.
I moved that, their request to have a special meeting on.
Second.
Okay, is it a roll call vote, Mr. Smith?
Yes, so we got a motion and a second.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Daniels,
Yes.
Commissioner Moulton. Aye. Commissioner Nielsen,
Aye.
Commissioner White,
Aye.
Commissioner Cadigan,
Aye.
Commissioner Maxwell,
Aye.
and Chair Pacheco.
Aye.
All right, motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Moving on to item number B, discussion on considering a second dog park. Then someone threw me under the bus, and wrote Commissioner Pacheco. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so this was actually brought to me by some people that are associated with our current dog park. At this time, they're seeing about 250-ish people a day at the dog park, which is by far our most used park, or at least close to it. They're going through about 1,200 to 1,500 bags a week, dog food bags, and that's not people who bring their own dog food. As far as hitting capacity, we're hitting capacity at a really high rate, and that's caused a lot of, God forbid if you're on social media, which I wish I wasn't. There's been a decent amount of incidents with dog conflict and things like that. Some of that's on account of it being overcrowded. Obviously, there's different feelings on this, but the need of the city, especially when we're hitting 250, they've expressed the desire to possibly have a second park or a second location possibly open. I think we all understand we probably won't have the same volunteer basis for Chetty because that's a unique once in a lifetime kind of thing. But they would like, or some of them would like to garner the support of opening a second location that's further away from this one to alleviate some of that pressure. And that is what I would like to present to you and see what you guys think about that. They didn't have any suggestions of locations. They're kind of, we would kind of look at it. I mean, I've driven around a decent amount. I forget the name of this park because I was thinking the park where in Cunningham might not be a bad spot to put a fence up and put the wood chips. Again, it doesn't need to be another Pachetti, but something. Commissioner, or Vice Chair Maxwell.
There has to be the ADA accessibility first. To do that. So we've got to keep that in mind.
You really just would need, Lincoln Cunningham's a tough one.
Okay.
But you would need at least one ADA accessible entry point and then at least one ADA accessible parking space to go and make, any improvements or adjustments.
No, you're fine. You're there. I got you.
I've got about a on my way.
Yeah.
So I can see. People maintain.
Oh, I'm sorry, interrupt, Mr. I'm good. Okay, Commissioner Daniels?
I would recommend Havana Salas Park. I mean, I catch myself picking up a lot of dog feces on my spare time because a lot of people do bring their dogs there because it's an open-ended space and there's a huge field in the middle. As far as ADA parking, I don't really know what standards those come with. But I know there's an ADA entrance on in Stoke Court.
Okay.
So it'd definitely be a prospect. I mean, I was thinking about turning the field into like a bigger community garden, but I guess the dog park also fits, which is.
Commissioner, or Vice Chair?
That is in the same, general vicinity as Lincoln County, connected.
Yeah.
There's the three parks that are connected to that. And all of our parks do have the dog waste stations. Some of them have more than one, but at least all of them have at least one.
Because they're there doesn't mean people use them.
So
They're
that's
not-
true,
All of our
That's true.
parks. We have smaller parks that don't have.
that's true. Maybe we need to look at getting some more of those.
And I want to point out too that I attended the Rio Grande JPA meeting or the walkthrough on Saturday. And there was talk actually about potentially turning the upper level up on Canyon or on Fremont, that the green team corner there. There was talk about maybe turning that into a dog. Well, I see that it's close to Pachetti already. That conversation did come up with the JPA, so there is potential to work with the city of Monterey there because I think part of it would be on their side and then part of it would be on our side. And it was actually the Monterey staff that was looking at it. So that could be an interesting use. However, it is close to Pachetti already, where I see where Havana Solis would be beneficial because it's on the other end of town. So then potentially everyone over there would use that dog park instead of driving across Pachetti, which could spread it out a little bit.
Commissioner Wilson?
And I see that as neighborhood dog owner friendly over by the Venice, so it's rather than an area where there's a lot of traffic. And yes, much safer, I think, in neighborhoods.
We did have a dog fatality there, so it's a year and a half ago as well. So having a controlled environment might benefit that particular part. I'm not, just more information that it might be beneficial in that way too. So I guess, Dan, my question then is, we can barely put a handicap carousel in. At this point, if we have an ADA accessible walkway, would that be an easier process and that there's already the ADA structure? Or I guess
I think that
realistically, that's what I'm asking. I'm sorry.
it's definitely, I think, we're closer in the process.
Okay.
So I think really what it comes down to would be budget.
Okay.
And then working with the Parks Department and Public Works to see exactly what else would be needed to do that. And then once we start getting those numbers, then what we would have to do is have a meeting and notify all the residents and say, we really need to get their input too. And see, because, there may not be the need or I mean, not the need, but the want of the dog park over there. So we just got to make sure that we do take the proper steps to get there.
Okay.
So we can start the process. As I was hearing, that's kind of what the commission wants to potentially go for if you guys, make a recommendation.
Anybody else have any thoughts on this? Adam? Do we open it up to public comment?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, Commissioner Wilson.
I do like the idea. I think it's important and a lot more people have dogs now. My question is, how does that affect our current projects that we need to focus on? Is that an issue?
My recommendation would be is to start having that, potentially add this to next year's work plan, right? Because we currently already have a pretty significant slate, but I think it's good to start talking about it now, and then when we get there, you guys can put it up there and then we can go through that process. Obviously, this isn't something that's gonna happen overnight.
No, I didn't. So I mean, I guess on that note, then my question being, if we do decide, or someone motions to start researching this, could we at least pull the neighborhood before we even think about putting out a work plan, or?
Yeah, we could probably have it as an item on a future agenda, and then just, when we have plenty of notice to put the word out. to
Okay.
the neighborhood.
Sorry, I just in my head, I want to make sure I was getting the process done. All right, that's all my piece about it.
All right, so let's open up to public comment. Members of the public on Zoom, if you would like to speak on this topic, please use the raise your hand feature and you have up to 3 minutes to speak. All right, Sarah Haller, you have the floor to speak on this topic. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, hi. This is mainly just FYI, just to let you guys know that the acoustics are really bad. Can't hear the lady at all, and the laptop screen is blocking the view of two people. Still, that's okay, that's good. And it's not on YouTube, so. Oh, wow. Okay.
Sorry.
I think that's your camera though, right? That was recording. Anyway, I know you probably can't do anything tonight, but just for future reference. Thank you.
Thank you. Noted. And that way is the lovely Commissioner Nielsen, just so we're all on the same page.
Pardon?
I was making sure they knew your name instead of that.
Thank you for your comments. All right. Anyone else like to speak on this topic? Looks like we got Leslie Lanteros, city staff, speak. All right, Leslie, you are free to speak.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Also, since everyone's wearing a mouth, we can't tell who's saying what. So if you can just say Commissioner, Pacheco or Commissioner Cadigan, so we know who's saying what to address someone. I just can't see that with the face masks on, and that's all.
Appreciate the feedback, Leslie.
Okay.
We all try to navigate this new process. All right, public comment is still open. See no more public comment on this item.
Okay. Chair Pacheco, sorry, it's awkward. At this time, does anybody want to make a motion in any direction? Once. Oh, Commissioner Nielsen.
Commissioner Nielsen here. I would like to make a motion to put this on our next work plan for 22, 23. Would that be 22, 23?
Yes.
21,
22, 23.
And if we can, in the meantime, well, I think we should put that on our work agenda for next fiscal year.
Your
That's my
motion. Okay.
I second it, Commissioner Maxwell.
Commissioner Pacheco, Mr. Munis, can we do a roll call vote?
Yes. We got a motion and a second.
Like that.
Commissioner Daniels.
Aye.
Commissioner Moulton. Aye. Commissioner Nielsen.
I,
Commissioner White.
Aye.
Commissioner Cadigan. Commissioner Maxwell.
Aye.
Commissioner Chair Pacheco.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Excellent. Moving on to item C, sorry, Commissioner Pacheco, moving on to item C, which is the discussion of the tree on a tree subcommittee. I'll kick this over to Commissioner Daniels. Can you give us the ditty, if you will?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Daniels here. Tree subcommittee was already formed. It's myself, Commissioner Nielsen, and Commissioner Wolf. just to give, I guess, information on my side, and I'll delegate it all to them. We're prospectively holding a presentation to City Council in collaboration with the Environmental Commission, based upon the 15 new trees we're planning to plant in the park. The presentation is just going to cover not only the environmental benefit of the trees, we're also trying to specifically pick trees that also have a physical benefit. So really, it would be just to inform the public on the different benefits of different trees, and hopefully we'll get some more info on the type of trees to be placed inside the parks. Then I'll delegate it to Commissioner Nielsen.
Thank you. The tree subcommittee was formed so we could pay more attention to our responsibility as what our commission is tasked to do, and to get in line with Tree City USA compliance. I don't think they fire us or anything, investigate us, but just to live up to their expectations of what the Tree City USA is supposed to be doing. And the other thing is to bring more education and attention to trees in our city and the value they bring to the environment and to our sense of well-being, and to also encourage stewardship of parks and trees. And I think that's pretty much, one of the things that we're working on with staff, Beth Rocha, is to find out if we can amend the ordinance to have people plant trees when they remove a tree. I don't know if that's in the ordinance now, but my understanding is it is not. And another consideration for the ordinance is to include in memoriam trees for residents to be able to purchase a tree and plant a tree in a park or a city open space. And so that's why the subcommittee is formed, because I think we need more than, we need a focused group to take care of that. And also, what we are doing right now as a tree subcommittee is we are working with FOSPA and Sustainable Seaside in their park tour, which will happen October 2nd, Saturday from 1 to 4. It's about 6 weeks away, so we're planning to make signs and place them where we're going to put the new trees currently and provide education. And we are going to, some of us are going to be a host or a docent, I guess, at the park. Do different projects like that to keep trees in the forefront.
Awesome. Oops, sorry. Commissioner Wolf, you want
Commissioner
Moulton.
Commissioner Nielsen said pretty much everything. We're just trying to draw more attention to trees, get education out there for the residents. A lot of cities, the article you sent out, I kind of took that to heart there. It's an article regarding cities that have made this commitment in the past and they're just all falling so short. We don't want to be one of those. We want to be a top tier. We want to stick to what we say and carry through with the pledge that we made to be a Tree City USA. And so that was another reason for the tree subcommittee. And so far, so good. That's all I have.
Awesome. Sorry, Commissioner Pacheco, 3 questions. What date are you presenting to the city council, or is that not decided yet?
It hasn't been decided yet.
And then what time on October 2nd?
1 to 4.
Wonderful. Okay. So let me make sure it's out there. So October 2nd, 1 to 4, park tour. Our beautiful people from the tree subcommittee will be docents. Okay, and then last thing about trees, which I think are lovely and wonderful, and important. Sometimes our community can get stuck with the not in my neighborhood thought. And so one thing that people, not even complained, voiced a concern about was obviously their view. So I just so you have it in your head to be prepared to answer that question, the view. And then unfairly and probably unrealistically, people blame trees for street conditions, which happens sometimes, but not all the time. So there's two things to have your mind on when it comes to education. That's the two big points that some of our more cantankerous citizens brought up at different meetings I've been to. So hopefully, I know you guys have that answers ready to go, just so you know that's there. And then
One more thing I wanted to say was,
Commissioner,
if anybody would like to volunteer to help out with the project that we're working towards for October 2nd, that'd be great. So if you're interested, let one of us commissioners know.
awesome.
Thank you.
Then one more thing. I had a question about the ordinance about plant a tree, you take a tree out. Something to consider as you guys talk about it. I unfortunately had a person on UNC side who removed a tree and then went to plant another tree to make up for it and had a very not fun experience, like almost shaming and not really like a collaborative thing. So we do decide to make it part of the ordinance. I hope we take it on as like a benefit to everybody and, you know, just, again, that comes with education, I suppose, and the park tour, but I don't know if we should make our citizens feel bad going in to fix their house in a certain direction and what trees they can't plant. That's all I got. Anybody else have anything else? Do we go to public comment on this, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, we will go to public comment on
Thanks.
this.
Anybody else before we go to public comment? Sorry, this is Commissioner Franco again. My bad. Commissioner Franco, anybody else have anything to public comment? Mr. Muse?
All right, public comment is now open. Is there any public comment inside the room?
Just real quick, my name's Dave Pacheco. Is the 15 trees, is that part of the money allocated by the Neighborhood Improvement Commission?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yield this time.
Anyone on Zoom wishing to speak on this item, you may now raise your hand. Sarah Haller, I'm not sure if your hand is up for this item or if you just didn't take it down, so you have your floor to talk. All right. I am not seeing any public comment on this item.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Muse. I don't think we need to make any motions on that, other than to applaud you three on the excellent job you've already started and to encourage support in the way we can moving forward. Moving on to item number D, which is with our wonderful Commissioner Cadigan, and that is discussion on additional dog bag disposal dispensers at Trinity Park.
As you guys know, that Trinity Park is almost shaped like a football field. And so we've got one dog dispenser all the way on the west end near the playgrounds. And with the number of people that come and walk their dogs, I think it would be beneficial if we could get another one on the east end. So one on each end of the park. So I'd like to request that we go ahead and fund for an extra dog disposal dispenser along with the trash can that comes with it.
It's a waste station.
Waste station.
I think, I believe there were some that were left. Oh, not all of them were installed, I believe.
Okay, well, if we have an extra one, that'd be nice to put on.
We'll find
east
that
end.
out from Dave Fortune, I think, will be the one.
So I can request from Public Works to see if there's any more there that are available. However, if there isn't one, I heard, and this is not necessarily a motion, but maybe the commission can discuss on what they want to do if there isn't one available.
Okay. Commissioner Pacheco, if there's not one available, what would you prefer a course of action?
Well, I think that, we get it funded. I forgot, how much did it cost?
Might be, it's probably,
Was it a few $100?
it's no more than $200, I don't think.
Yeah.
And you guys do have $3,000 in your budget.
Okay. So we have the funding. Does anybody have any motions in regard to this item? Commissioner Moll?
Commissioner Mullen. Actually, what I've seen a lot, and we walk our dogs all the time, is there any way that kind of piggyback on what you're saying, if the park is, you said it's like a football field for everyone at home and grown a football field. And you're saying putting one here and one here, is there any way we could put a trash can in between on each side so if people are walking around? Because what we see a lot is those dog bags, they're used and then just deposited on the ground, which like blows my mind. I just think it'd be nice to have a couple of additional trash cans there.
Yeah, we've got, 2 trash cans currently.
Okay.
The city, trash cans with trash and recycle. One on each end of the park. One is near the playgrounds where the barbecue and picnic benches are, and the other one is on the east end. My wife and I pick up trash constantly, so additional trash cans would be wonderful, especially how you've described it. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. I believe those trash cans are almost $2,000 a piece.
For those ones, yes.
Yeah. So anyway, that would be great, but you're talking $4,000, just in 2 trash cans. So, yeah.
And this commission is responsible for getting
Yeah.
purchasing.
Okay.
So,
Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, but have a great suggestion. Do we have any motions in regards to the waste station? Sorry.
yeah, I'd like to make a motion that the commission fund dog bag disposal dispenser if there is not one available for the placement at Trinity Park on the east end.
All right, we got a motion and a second. First, we need to go to public comment.
Thank you. Commissioner Pacheco.
Anyone in the room wishing to make public comment?
Dan, who seconded?
Daniel.
Daniel.
Commissioner Daniels.
Thank you.
All right, those members of the public attending via Zoom, you may use the raise your hand feature to speak up to 3 minutes on this item. Chair Pacheco, I'm not seeing any public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Munoz. So we have a motion and we have a second. Do we have any, I guess, questions on that motion?
Was the motion to purchase one, or because we're thinking about, I mean, some parks might require or might have a need for more than one, what's there now. And maybe the cost of them, if we buy multiple units, would be a cheaper, better deal. So I don't know, you need to.
Okay, Commissioner Pacheco,
amend the motion.
Mr. Munoz, is there like a Costco type deal here if we get many?
It's a good question. I didn't order them last time, but I think like if you buy in 10 or more, there may be a little bit of a discount, but I am not 100% sure. I would need to do some research on that. And that would be talking with Public Works since they did order them last time.
Not to sway anybody in any direction, but I feel like sometimes we get bogged down and we push things back under the guise of the savings on a $200 item are probably $10 to $20, and I order Uber Eats instead of driving to the restaurant to save, and I pay more for that, so maybe it's worth making sure this one gets done and then going forward from there. Is that, I'm just my suggestion on that question. But I think we have two, you know what I'm saying?
I think it makes sense too, just because we're talking about this one item and then purchasing more would be, could potentially be another item.
Excellent, thank you, Mr. Means. So we have a motion and a second, so we vote? Sorry.
I'd like to make a comment to what Chris was talking about with the trash cans. Can we get to the older type trash cans, do you think, Dan, that Public Works I'm sure has around, and put them like Chris suggested?
That is a possibility.
I know this is kind of off topic.
I would just need to follow up with them.
Okay.
And just double check.
Okay, would you mind doing that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, thank you.
Do we amend that on the motion or do we just?
No.
No, okay,
I'll-
just to
I'll-
make sure. I'm sorry.
All right, so we do have a motion and a second. We ready for the vote?
I think we are. Please do, Mr. Mayor.
All right, Commissioner Daniels,
Aye.
Commissioner Moulton. Aye. Commissioner Nielsen,
Aye.
Commissioner White,
Aye.
Commissioner Cadigan.
Aye.
Vice Chair Maxwell. Aye. Chair Pacheco.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Item number E, discussion on bike path directional sign to the area of Del Monte Boulevard and Canyon Del Rey Boulevard. And again, going back to you, Mr. Cadigan.
Good. We currently, I'm talking about the southwest corner. So if you're standing on the corner, looking north, you're looking at Starbucks. To your right would be the Embassy Suites. There's currently a sign that faces, if you are traveling to Monterey, right there. It talks about us being about the bees, and then directions for the bike path. The other side is blank. And what I've run into at that corner on a number of occasions are tourists that have rented bikes and they're coming from Monterey towards Seaside. They get to that corner and now they're pulling out their phone and stuff because they don't know to go left down the sidewalk towards the hotel, you know, and under the freeway. So what I would like is just a duplicate sign, which is on the pole now, also on the other side of the pole, basically says bike lane with an arrow.
We stand here. Are we talking about going back towards Monterey?
Going towards, if you're standing on the corner and I'm looking at Starbucks, the arrow would be pointing towards that, you know, big flag with the hotel. I don't know what that hotel is called anymore.
Oh, the one by the beach.
Yes.
The tides. Okay.
So the tide. So it would take you down the sidewalk, right onto the bike path,
Yeah.
and that way.
Yeah.
Because if you look now, I mean, you could cross Canyon Del Rey, but now you're riding against traffic, which is illegal. You can't go across the street down. So I think for the tourists that are probably taking it to the dunes or into Marina or whatever, having that arrow, it's a simple fix. I would even install it if I could get it.
Okay. You guys can have a discussion.
Excellent suggestions. Mr. Cadigan, does anybody have any questions? Okay. Commissioner Nielsen.
This is Commissioner Nielsen, and one of the things, I like that idea, but as you ride your bike, you again kind of don't know where that bike path is. You're gonna have to cross a street, 2 streets.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
you're
you're
gonna
on.
have to, it's tricky to know that there's gonna be a bike path down that way. Is there any way to, I don't know how big the sign is that you're talking about?
If it's the duplicate sign, it's about that big. I'd say probably 18 inches with the arrow. It's a typical bike lane sign, green with the
Okay.
icon.
Is there any way to, somehow let them know how far they're gonna have to go?
I'm just trying to keep it simple.
Because once they get to that, where the freeway comes down.
That's where the bike lane is. The trouble is when you enter Seaside, there is a very tiny sign that Monterey's put up that directs them to the left. No one sees it because that takes you around Roberts Lake and then under the freeway and to the tides. They miss it. It looks like a postcard. Now I'm exaggerating, but it's tiny. So they go through that and now they're passing in and out on their right and they go over the little bridge with the water. They get to that corner because there's no sign on that pole because the sign's facing the other way. And all they have to do is make the left right down the sidewalk, right on the bike path. So that was my point. Yeah.
Yeah, I like simple, but I just wasn't.
I think if we get into marking the sidewalk, and I think we get into, you can't do it.
It's complicated.
Is the bike path noted on the ground at all?
No, the bike path is not noted anywhere on that,
Okay.
on the recreational trail.
Sorry.
Other than when you get past the wharf.
Gotcha.
And then they've got the, basically telling the bikes and the walkers which way to stay.
Gotcha.
But that's the only area. Other than that, and it stops, I believe, it goes from the wharf to the aquarium with any type of marking. And then it stops.
Okay, I'm just curious, sorry.
Yeah, and then at that point, it's just a trail, like when
It's
you get
just a
on,
trail.
when you get on Marina.
Yep.
Like right there by the tides, you go and you make that right turn, like on that frontage road.
Yeah.
And then the bike lane's there, and then it goes up behind Costco, and then it goes back all the way towards.
Right,
Marina.
you can stay right on to Marina.
Yeah.
So
Commissioner White, did you have?
Yeah, just a matter of, you have the pole.
we have a pole with 2 signs right now.
Yeah.
And so it would be a duplicate sign, so they'd be back to back. So you can see it from whether you're looking north or south.
That's a good idea, because people do come in and stop.
Yes, yeah, they're taking out their phones or they're using the maps that the bike people gave them, and there's a little confusion.
Anybody else before we go to public comment on this? Mr. Muse, can we get public comment, please?
All right, public comment is now open. If you would like to speak on this topic, please use the raise your hand feature. Oh, Leslie, as a staff liaison, you may now speak. Leslie, you there?
Is that better? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so are you talking about the corner across from Embassy Suites
Yes.
where the lift station is and they were doing some work over there in the corner?
Yes.
Yes.
So, so you wanted to put a sign there directing people to ride on the sidewalk to go towards the beach?
Yes.
Okay, so that sign would probably be not appropriate to direct people to ride on the sidewalk. A better location would be on the pathway around Roberts Lake, because that's where the official bike path is.
That's in Monterey though, right?
No, it is and it isn't. I'm not really quite sure where our right of way is. They might own the entire length, the width of the street, but there is a little tiny sign as you're going along the bike path, which what you're considering the bike path. There's a sign that has like a bike, but we can put maybe an arrow or discuss with Monterey to put an arrow to direct them to the bike path, because it looks inviting. It has a crosswalk, you can cross, you can jump on here and go all the way up, but then it doesn't really lead you to continue on the path that goes around the lake.
Commissioner White, so what you're saying is there's just an arrow that points that way? There's nothing saying bike path?
Or you can say, bike path with an arrow directing you to around Roberts Lake, because that's the official bike path. And then there's a crossing where they could get on another pathway that leads all the way around to Sand City's bike path.
So what I'm hearing is it's probably better to notice the path up front there,
Correct.
make our directional signage more prevalent there at the path point. So
Correct.
I think
I agree, but I thought that was the city of Monterey.
I'm sure we can work in agreement with that. We can probably work with them to
to do something there, but that, and Leslie's right, the property line there is a bit interesting. I don't know if you've seen that there's a lot for sale there on the corner. That is actually Seaside. So we could put something there, probably a sign there, and then direct people that way, potentially. All right, thank you, Leslie. Is there any other members of the public wishing to speak? I am not seeing any other members of the public requesting to speak on this item.
Okay. Commissioner Cadigan, with this new set of information, how would you like?
I'm still kind of. So she was saying, let's not have people ride their bikes on the sidewalk.
Right.
Because my understanding is bikes shouldn't be allowed, aren't really technically allowed on the sidewalk, and then they would also, that would be going in the wrong direction.
Okay.
But you know, to go from Monty Avenue to get on the bike path by the tide, you have to get on the sidewalk some point in time. You do. By the freeway overpass, you do. That's where the crossing is. For pedestrian or whoever. There's too much traffic, car traffic to ride your bike in the road over there. It's dangerous. It is.
But what Leslie's saying is we can't, as a city entity, we can't be telling people to ride in the wrong direction on the sidewalk. Where if we were to maybe direct them, if we wanted to still do it at that intersection, direct them across the street and then go the other way.
Could we, Dan, in theory, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
No, go.
Maybe perhaps an information. So like when you go to Sacramento, they have signs that say you are here, a little intersection looking thing that says Museum of Haberdashery here. Perhaps maybe that kind of sign where it says you are here, and then like a basic bike path, you know, on the informational instead of saying break the law, rather informational. Commissioner Molden.
Similar, why don't we just put a guy walking with an arrow and just hope that they get off their bike and walk? Because really, this is like one of those spirit and letter of the law kind of deals. Everyone's gonna go that way anyway. They're gonna ride their bike that way anyway, but we're not gonna help them with directions, even though they're gonna do it anyway. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's literally illegal to ride a bike on the sidewalk in Seaside?
I think it's part, because like if bike is considered while it's not a car, while you're on your bike, you can act like a vehicle in the path of travel.
Yeah.
So technically you're not supposed to be on the sidewalk. I would have to review those laws, but this would definitely be a question for the city attorney.
Wow, I didn't know that this was that big of a deal.
Apparently,
just because we're
Done?
it's just because we would be, you know,
Sure.
we can't be like really telling the public to do that.
Gotcha.
Commissioner White. Would it be okay, somebody brought up a question, if we could across the street, the sign, across Canyon on the corner, which would go, they would be going with the flow of traffic down to the,
You know, that would probably be the right thing to do. When you look at all the right-hand turns, right-hand turn into Starbucks, right-hand turn into Home Depot, right-hand turn into Shell, right-hand turn onto the freeway. I mean, you're gonna get some cream. That's why when I ride my bike, and I ride my bike often, and I'm going to Marina or whatever, I ride on that sidewalk. I got one street to cross after Canyon Del Rey, and that's where Roberts Lake is, and that's it. But I understand what the city's position, and maybe Monterey will do a better job at signage. Like I said, I've helped numerous people in the past, and I was just thinking of something easy, but I know where I'm going, so it's not that big of a deal to me.
I think the best solution would probably be to direct people to where that path actually crosses at Roberts Lake by the playground. So finding the easiest way to get them there.
And there is a sign, the sign I was talking about does show the bike path going to the left. My point is when you're coming from the south, you don't see it, so. Yeah,
We can definitely look at that.
Okay. Can we direct staff and hopefully do some research on what we can do to alleviate this quagmire?
Yes.
Thank you. Anything else on this item? Do we need to do a vote? We already did public comment. We have no motions. Okay. Moving along to item number 6, reports from recreational staff.
All right. Well, everyone, it's been great over the last couple of weeks as we've been able to open up the Oldemeyer Center pretty much fully. We've brought back a lot of programs. Senior dances have come back. Our kids are back in the building. The pool is open. Today was actually a registration day for all of our fall classes that will be occurring through the months of September through December. So it is really good to see the community back in this building. Obviously we're all wearing masks now because the city has implemented, masks indoors. And while that's a small little price to pay, I think it's worth it for the safety of everyone to be here and to come in this building freely. So really excited about all that. The rec department has also filled 2 recreation supervisor vacancies. So happy to say that Molly Fitro, who was the pool manager, has been promoted to recreation supervisor and oversees the pool, the senior program, special events, contract classes, and art. And then Keon Higgins, who was also an internal candidate, who was an activity coordinator for the Seaside Youth Resource Center. He was also promoted to recreation supervisor, and he oversees all the youth programs between preschool, the kids camps, the after school program, the teen center. In addition, he oversees the youth resource center. So it was really great to be able to get 2 internal candidates for those positions. It really continues with our autonomy. So I'm proud to have them on board. They're going to help me out a lot. They will probably be attending some commission meetings here over the time. And then lastly, Blues in the Park is back. So we will, Blues in the Park will be officially starting on Sunday, September 12th, Laguna Grande Park. And we'll be going for 4 Sundays, concluding on October the 3rd. So really excited to get those concerts back up and running. I know the community is really clamoring to get out there. So I anticipate some large attendance and some good blues music out there for the community. And just one more last thing is that we did host the Oaxaca by the Sea event last Sunday, which was a celebratory event to highlight the Mexican state of Oaxaca as the primary. A lot of Oaxacans reside here in Seaside. So we had about 1,200 people attend that event for the first time throwing it on. It had some traditional dance that was actually, the dancers came from Oaxaca. So a lot of them, it was their first time being in the United States, and they came here. They did a wonderful show. It was really well done, and we are excited to kind of have that event move forward as being part of our event calendar, looking in the near future. So we're booming. We're getting ready to really get up and running again and really show the community, we're back. So with that, we're staying busy.
Excellent, thank you. Really exciting stuff. And then I guess, anybody have any questions for Danny before we move on to number 7? Okay.
One thing with Blues in the Park, I know that there was talk about the commission being involved. So we have the ability to have a Parks and Recreation table at the event. And if that is something that we want to maybe put together a calendar, not all the commissioners need to be present at each show, but I think it would be good to be out there. We got swag to give away, have the commission get out in the community, and you get to listen to some good music, because I'm sure most of you will probably be in attendance anyway. So if you want to, we can work together, and 1 or 2 of you that you want to be out there, I'll make sure that we have a table and a tent and all your swag and everything.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I know it's a work item, I think, for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, however you guys, I'm not sure how with all the different, regulations and rules, and Miss Commissioner Gaines Lynch is not here to remind us. I assume that you and Terry will help us schedule that, so.
Yeah, if you're interested and you want to be part of one of the dates, just shoot me an email and we'll make sure that we have everything you guys need.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Anything else for Mr. Reyes? Okay, moving on to item number 7, reports and park staff.
All right, Leslie, do you have anything to share on behalf of the Parks Department?
Yes. So the Highland Otis Park construction bids came back, and we will be going to the City Council this Thursday to award a contract to the John Chapin Company. So that's happening, and with the construction start date late September, early October for Highland Otis. And then we are out to bid right now with Ellis Park bids, and I believe they're either due Wednesday or Thursday of this week. And after that, we anticipate to go to the City Council for approval on September 2nd with the construction start date in early October. We have Laguna Grande moving forward with the final design. We anticipate that to go out to bid within the next couple of weeks, with construction starting probably at the end of October. That's the accessible merry-go-round structure and musical panels with concrete accessible pathway. And then we will be bringing you forth the Catino Park additions at that special meeting scheduled. I believe you guys approved September 20th special meeting. So we'll be bringing that information to you at that time.
Sorry, I may be going deaf in one ear. What's the date for Laguna Grande again?
Oh, we are going out to bid within the next couple weeks. I don't have a hard deadline on that yet.
And construction was starting when?
It was going to be starting in October sometime.
Excellent. Question. In May, we talked to Ms. Patel, I believe. We were guaranteed and promised that out to bid would be July. Is there a reason for the delay?
On what?
On the bids for the Laguna Grande Park.
In May, that we are going to go out to bid. Yes, we had some staffing shortages here, and we had some staff out for a couple weeks, not being able to work on that.
Gotcha.
Medical.
So for sure doing this in 2 weeks.
Going out to bid.
Yes, yes.
For Laguna Grande.
Yes, I'm sorry to be redundant. Just we've been on 2 years here, so I just want to make sure a lot of people in the commission have spent a lot of time to make this happen. So I just want to make sure they're aware of their hard work going in a direction. So can we just get a good? So in 2 weeks we're going to bid. That's all I'm asking.
Okay.
Is that pretty hard, or is that? Are we going to do the same thing or the next meeting when you're 2 more weeks?
We'll do our best with the staff that we have.
Thank you. That's all I was looking for. Okay. Anybody else have questions for Ms. Montero? All right, move on to item number 8, reports from commissioners.
Thanks, Leslie.
Thank you.
Commissioner Daniels.
I have no reports to give at this time.
Awesome. Thank you. Commissioner Moulton.
I have been working, like we said earlier, with the tree subcommittee. I'm currently trying to get some signage made. If anyone's got any spare plywood they want to donate, full like 4x8 sheets would be great. Because they're supposed to, we kind of decided these, where the trees will be planted, we want to put a tree-shaped sign there. I figured my jigsaw could cut out a tree shape, but someone else could draw the tree shape. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm working with that. Otherwise, I have nothing else to report at this time.
Thank you. Commissioner Nielsen.
kind of the same thing, working with FOSPA and Environmental Committee and Sustainable Seaside for the park tour, trying to get our trees project highlighted, get people excited. That's going to be kind of like a kickoff to us really bringing attention to the benefit of trees. And also, as you know, I'm very interested in the corner of Kenyon Del Rey and Fremont Street where the native plant garden is. And Robert Daniels, Commissioner Daniels came and met me there weekend before last, on Friday actually, and we watered for 4 hours over there. And I plan on going there again in about a month to water some more, to try to keep that beautiful example of native trees and plants that were planted by citizens of Seaside 25 years ago or so. And what a beautiful, what a beautiful result they got there. And I really would hate to see it go down the tubes if it's not taken care of. So also going to have a trimming of that area, and if anybody is interested in that, just send me an email and I don't know the exact date yet, but it's usually a Saturday for half a day, and just trim up that area, open it up so you can see through it. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Nielsen. Commissioner White?
No, nothing to add.
Commissioner Gadigan? Okay. Vice Chair Maxwell.
I attended the 4th of July block party at Broadway and represented our commission and handed out a bunch of swag that we had. And looking forward to doing the same sort of thing at the Blues in the Park. And also this last Saturday, did a walk through Laguna Grande Park with the JPA and people. There was a few Seaside citizens and a lot of Monterey citizens, and we stopped at like 6 different stations and gave some input on things that needs to be addressed. And it was a good start. And the discussion of fixing it up and maintaining that park.
Excellent. And don't forget your National Night Out representing us too.
Well, yeah, I always represent.
Hey,
But
I'm just saying.
that was actually the police activity we always represent.
Well, I saw you as a Parks and Rec person, so thank you. Appreciate you. It's great to see you there. All right, for me, I'll keep this quick. I'm sorry, guys. July 3rd, we actually, thank you to Mr. Hughes and Vice Supervisor. I'm sorry, I forgot about Mrs. Fitzgerald's name.
Rec Supervisor.
Rec Supervisor Ms. Fitzgerald actually went through and really drove home one of our work plan projects and put on the world's biggest swim lesson. And it was wonderful to see. We had a lot of participation, well run, like great community involvement. And I hope even if we save one kid's life because they now can float, then it was well worth all the effort. So I really, really appreciate staff making that happen. That was really special. One of the drives by the city council was to lower the rental fees to the Oldmeyer Center. I'm blessed to say that we had my son's first birthday party in the Blackbirds Black and White. Oh my goodness. Black horse and bayonet rooms. On the far side, very easy. If you're at home, please rent it and do cool stuff, and you can do more cool stuff. My son's actually in parent-child lessons, so thank you to your staff for doing that. We love it. I missed it to be here, but it's just a good being with you guys. Last thing I'll say, maybe I'm kicking a dead horse. My commission report is that if there's a time where every kid can't play at one of our parks, and we don't have access for every kid in our city, we are failing as a commission, we're failing as a city. So until we alleviate that in some way, I'm going to keep showing up and pushing on it. And I'm sorry if that makes me not very liked by you or by staff or by people at home. but we owe it to those citizens and we owe it to the people on this commission who have fought for this to make it happen. And until it happens, then I am the biggest thorn you will ever have in the side of your shoe. So I apologize if I'm annoying, but it has to happen because today there's a kid that cannot go to that park and play, and that's unacceptable. And it will always be unacceptable until we fix it. With that, we'll move. Oh, and finally, again, thank you, Mr. Rios. Happy birthday, Terry. You're amazing. Thank you to the staff that came to this meeting. We love you for being here and helping us deal with our questions. And moving on to item number 9 then.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.